Hello, guys. Today I wanted to talk about Korea being depressed. So, you guys might know, but South Korea is really famous for people not being really happy. And today, as a person who have experienced both foreign and South Korean culture, I wanted to talk about what I've witnessed, like the biggest difference between those two groups, and what I believe are the key factors of Koreans not being happy. And the reason you want to watch this is because by watching this, I think I could give some insights about how you could actually be. I mean, if you are, sorry, but how to actually have a better, well-lived life. So, number one thing I found is South Korea has a exclusive social culture. So what does that mean? So for instance, let's say I'm gonna go out with Daniel, right? And what could another name be? Um, Bimbi, Bimbi says, "Okay, Enzo, do you want to go have dinner with me?" Right? But if I already have a plan with Daniel, what would usually happen is I would ask Bimbi to come with us, right? But in South Korea, most of the times it's like, "Oh no, I already have plans with Daniel, so you can't come." So the whole social gathering culture is really exclusive, okay? And I've witnessed this the most when I went back to Texas. So when I went back to Texas, um, I could. So I was there as a guest, but as soon as I made like two friends, the two friends would invite me to other friend gathering groups, right? And by doing so, every time I joined, I would have more and more friends, right? And those friends would go with me on other groups, and I would become friends with them, right? And the biggest thing I've witnessed, the results of this is when I followed each other on Instagram. When I was back in Texas, all of the friends that I made over there were had like more than 1,000 followers. But I think it's not like followers; it's more like connections. So you get more connections with that inclusive social culture. But in South Korea, they don't really do that. And I thought of why, right? Why do they don't do that, right? Because it sounded much better. But I think it's a different approach to how you make um, the social culture special. So in South Korea, you exclude people who could join the social group, and by doing so, you make the circle more special, right? But on the other hand, I'll just say Western. I know it's a kind of wrong way to say it, but I'll just say Western. So in Western, I mean non-Korean, what I've experienced. So in Western cultures, I think it's more inclusive. So you make the whole circle more special by including as much people as possible, right? And I think that's um that's one of the reasons uh, why Koreans are not happy. They have a very exclusive social culture, and as time passes by, if you have that culture of excluding people, the more time passes by, the people inside you, the people who you know, get smaller and smaller. And if you repeat that, at the end of the day, you end up quite lonely. So that's what I found. The second thing is, a lot of South Koreans don't know what they like, but it's not actually their fault because they had never been given the chance to speak about themselves before becoming an adult. Okay, so how did I find this out? Um, when I came into med school, there was a lot of guys who came to me that were saying, "I don't know what to do, and I don't know what makes me, what makes me happy. I don't really find anything fun." And then I asked, "When's the last time you said, 'I want X,' or 'I believe X,' right? When's the last time you said 'I' and your thought, your feelings, or something of you?" And he answered, "Not that often," right? And I think that all starts from the whole educational system in South Korea. So it, the educational system that I experienced in the Western countries is it's usually in high schools you write essays, right? And you have to make something out from you. So you develop your thoughts. That's the whole purpose of the whole educational system in the Western countries, I believe. But in South Korea, you do not matter. And through the 3 years of high school that I experienced, I never wrote an essay. And whenever I had my idea to the teacher thought of it as a rude act, being disrespectful to him. Okay? Because I showed my thought against his. So I wasn't always against his idea. The fact that I showed a part of my idea was deemed to be disrespectful to the teacher. I mean, that's how it is. So, if you're born and raised in South Korea, until you're 20, you had never been given a chance to actually talk about your thoughts, right? And when you don't get the chance to talk about your thoughts, it's really hard to find out who you actually are, right? And because you actually don't know who you really are, it's really hard to know what you really like. And I think because of that whole thing that happened, a lot of Koreans, even though they're adults and they've lived for a long time, they most of them don't really know what they really want or like. And I really don't blame them. I think it's part of the reason for the educational system and the hierarchy where the teacher or someone who is above them is giving information directly into their brain. Nothing is coming out. So that's the second reason. And I want to add that people say Koreans all look the same. If you first visit South Korea, you'll probably see a lot of people kind of wear the same thing and walk the same way, have the same shoes. But I believe it's not that they look the same, it's that they haven't been given the chance to be themselves, right? They haven't been given the chance. So how are you going to develop yourself? Develop a figure of a personality when you have never been given a chance, right? So it's not their fault, to be fair. That's what I really wanted to add. And number 3 is, in South Korea, people are not close with nature. So, if you walk around South Korea, it's really hard to step on grass. For instance, right outside me, it's all asphalt, and every road is covered with asphalt, and it's cars, buildings, or sidewalks. There's no grass, and the trees are just planted to be shown on the sidewalks. So it's really hard to find nature in South Korea. And I don't have any clue, but I believe that a person is more happy when him or she is closer to nature. So that's it. And I also wanted to add up a small experiment that I really like to quote. It's about a rat. And in the experiment, there's two group of rats. And the first group it's really nature friendly and it's not in a 도시화. Sorry guys, excuse my English. Urbanization. It's not urbanized. So the rats are in a very nature friendly environment. But on the other hand, the group 2, the rats are in a very urbanized environment. Okay? And what the scientists found is the second group were way more stressed, so their cortisol levels were really high. And another thing they found out was the rats would enter teenage years way faster, and they would become adults way faster. But the end result of the rats were way poor. So group A, the rats entered teenage years lately, a bit later. But the end result, which is the adult rat, was bigger, stronger, and more healthier. Okay, but on group B, the rats were more stressed, they entered teenage years a bit faster, but the end result was poor. So they were smaller, weaker, and they weren't fully developed when they were adults. I think that's what's happening in South Korea. If you first come to South Korea, a lot of people are kind of, not fit. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying they're not fit, like skinny, or like really stressed. And I think that's partially because South Korea is so urbanized, and to be honest, it's not really nature friendly. So people, when they grow up, I think they hit puberty way earlier. Because when I first came to South Korea on fifth grade, I was really surprised because everyone was so mean, and everyone was like way bigger than me. But I'm 6'2", I'm around 170, 80 pounds, so I'm big here. But they entered puberty way earlier than I did. And I think part of that is because of urbanization. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share for the guys who were a bit curious. I think South Korea, is not really a happy country. Um, so the first reason I think is because of their exclusive social culture. Second thing is they don't really know what makes them happy, right? And the third thing is they're not really close with nature. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. You might agree, you might disagree, and it's all fine. So this is just me. I'm a small guy. I have like 600 subscribers, I think. Yeah, if you have any other ideas, you can leave on the comment. Or if you don't want to have it public, you could come to my Discord chat and just chat to me privately. People come onto my Discord and be like, well, I don't really agree on this point. I'm like, well, sure. So it's fine. You could find me there. You could find me on Instagram. And I'm a legit dude. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a dude just recording because I was a bit lonely with my thoughts caught up in my head. So yeah, that's about it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.